Now, Trump's plan, for example, is exactly Oslo. Trump's map, I'm sure that Rabin would have said, this is exactly what I meant. This is what I want. It's exactly Oslo. It was what the left in Israel was supporting all the way in the 90s. This adheres basically to our needs. Now, talking about solutions, one solution is Oslo, Trump's plan, something along these lines. A different solution, which I like a lot, is the Emirates solution of Dr. Kedar. The idea of the Emirates is, since the Palestinian towns in Judea and Samaria each one of them are completely different and are controlled by specific, I would say, tribes, families. What Dr. Kedar suggested is building exactly the idea of the United Emirates, Arab Emirates, in Judea and Samaria. The Emirate of Hebron, the Emirate of Ramallah, the Emirate of Jenin, and so on, based on the families. By the way, we know personally many of the leading families who are very supportive of this idea. They hate the Palestinian Authority. They want them out. Most of the Palestinians do. And they say, we are willing to be an emirate of this small area of Hebron or Ramallah. We want good relations with Israel. We want to work in Israel. We want Israeli electricity, Israeli water, Israeli economy, and so on. And we don't want these Palestinian leaders anymore. So this is another idea. I promoted for many years another idea, which I want to show you, which is, when you look at the overall picture. First of all, look how dense. I mean, anybody who thinks that you can basically pick up more land, I don't know, people are not thinking. I was talking about a third solution. We talked about Oslo, Trump's plan, which is similar. We talked about Emirates plan. And I promoted for 3 years a different plan called the New State Solution, which basically says the only place where a viable Palestinian state can actually exist is in a Gaza Strip and the Sinai Peninsula. You see the Sinai Peninsula, almost no population at all, not populated, I mean, very few people live there. You see how densely the Egyptians are building along the Nile, as they did for thousands of years, and how dense is Israel. So the Palestinians are, half of them live in Gaza, half of them live in Judea and Samaria. Who said that we need to anchor the solution in Judea and Samaria and not in Gaza? And also, I think that it's ridiculous to think that in a state with the width of 45 miles, you can actually create two viable states. It's incomprehensible. It doesn't have to do anything with Jews and Palestinians. It's simply not possible physically. So if you want a solution, you need to think out of the box. You need to understand that you need to bring more land to the discussion. This more land can be or Sinai Peninsula, or since in Jordan, more than 60% of the population is Palestinian, some say even 80%, think about Jordan as a solution. So we need to move from the ideas that the empires in the First World War brought here, the Europeans, the British and the French, and be open to new ideas. I mean, we take ideas of colonialists who conquered this land 100 years ago and make it as if it came from the Sinai, a Bible. Nothing here is the Bible. There are very different solutions, and we don't need to undermine Israel's security. in order to solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. There is enough solutions which enable us to be a normal country and have enough land. I don't know if you realize it, but Israel in 20 years will be more than 20 million people. And looking at the anti-Semitism now in the world, who knows how many Jews will make Aliyah? So probably will be much more. We need space, we need security. And solving the Palestinian issue is solvable, we can do it, but it doesn't need to be all at our expense. If the world wants a Palestinian state, it can assist in creating one. It's not only Israel's problem. This is the land of Israel, not the land of Palestinians.